Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu... Oh, I'm talking German. Great.
That's a great start.
All right. Hello and welcome everybody to a new episode of YELLIT!
YELLIT, 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 YELLIT from the mountain.
YELLIT, conversations with artists. And today I welcome the wonderful, amazing, brilliant Quincy Armorer.
Black Theatre Workshop is the oldest black theatre company in Canada. Black Theatre Workshop est la compagnie de théâtre noir la plus ancienne au Canada. For 50 years, the award-winning Montreal-based company has been dedicated to the promotion of black culture.
Rainy.
I want to die. Why can't I die?
You did good, Rainy. You did good.
It's so easy for you.
Just let me help you out of there.
You have your God.
Welcome.
Thank you, Benita. You are far too kind, but I accept it graciously. It's lovely to be here with you.
Thank you for being here. So today I am in Toronto on University Street at the Goethe Institute. And behind me, you can see an installation called In the Stacks by Thomas Gognard. And I'm wearing a sweater representing Janelle Monáe, Turn the Tables, gray sweater and a record in the center, golden earrings, white AirPods, pink lipstick, and cornrows on my hair. How about you?
Well, I am here in my apartment in Montreal. I've got a white wall, but I have an Auguste Rodin painting behind me. I've also got two plants, one to my left and one to my right. I'm wearing a pink dress shirt that's got the top button unbuttoned. And on top of that, I'm wearing a black sweater. It's kind of like a turtleneck, but it buttons all the way up the center. I've got really short black hair and I'm wearing black rimmed glasses.
Gorgeous. What drink did you bring us today?
Well, it's not really exciting because it's early and I have a big day, but it looks exciting because it's in a wine glass. So I am drinking water with chlorophyll in it, lime and basil chlorophyll. So it helps
amazing
at the same time.
Yes, I am still in cozy mode, feeling very Christmassy with a ginger latte. So cheers.
Cheers to you, my dear.
So tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. I am Quincy Armorer. I am a theater artist, an actor, director, teacher, and I am also the artistic director of Black Theatre Workshop, which is in Montreal, and it is the oldest Black theatre company in Canada.
Wow. And the oldest means you have an anniversary. You're celebrating an anniversary right now.
We are. It's 50 this year. This is our 50th season. Like, wow. It's a milestone. It's huge. It's an exciting time, to really be thinking back. It makes you become very reflective, or I became very reflective and looking back on the history, but at the same time, looking forward to what our future is going to be. It's a really wonderful place to be, actually.
How many years have you been the artistic director of Black Theatre Workshop?
This is my 10th season. So coming up on 10.
My goodness. This is such a legacy. You have like 1 decade out of 5. That's huge, Quincy.
Yeah. Wow. You're the first person to actually put it like that I've got a decade of the 5 decades. Wow. Okay.
What song is playing on loop right now at your house?
There's so many that are on loop all the time. I'm a creature of habit, but one of the ones that I love right now is it's It's the Beyonce song, If I Were a Boy, except it's the Glee version that's performed by the actor Alex Newell. Yes, that's the one that I've been watching on YouTube. There's a clip and I listen to it almost every day.
I got the chance to see you on the dance floor. You're like the center of attention on the dance floor. Can you just tell us what role does dancing play in your life?
Freedom. I love to dance.
Would you give away one of your guilty pleasures?
Oh, wow.
This is exciting.
Okay, like I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm totally going to say this, and I'm embarrassed and so proud at the same time. I am obsessed with the if you go to YouTube, there's the It's All Over and I Am Telling You from Dreamgirls, the movie version with Jennifer Hudson and Anika Noni Rose and Beyonce and like all of them. I do the whole thing. Like I mouth all of their parts. I do it in the shower and I imagine that there's like six characters. God. I imagine that there are 6 characters on me. So I'm doing this thing and then I'm talking over here and I'm going over here and I'm doing like total guilty pleasure for me.
I totally, the next time we'll do this, you have to reenact it. Like I want to see this. This
Maybe.
is so
talk.
cool.
We'll talk.
Thanks for sharing that. Well, you already talked about, or we already talked about BTW and Black Theatre Workshop in Montreal. And so this year, we also said it's a very special year, not just because of the pandemic and lots of shows had to be postponed or even canceled, but right now, also you're working on one production that, if I understand correctly, is a continuation of a production that you worked on several years ago with Omari Newton, Black and Blue Matters.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck about a cop.
What can you tell us about this production?
I'm so excited for this production. It's very unfortunate that we've had to postpone it, obviously, because of the pandemic. But when we get there, it's going to be amazing. We produced Omari's first play, Sal Capone, The Lamentable Tragedy of, back in 2013. And he wrote that play following the death of Freddie Villanueva here in Montreal back in 2008. It was another unarmed young man of color that was killed by police, and Omari felt compelled to say something about it. And he created this wonderful, wonderful play. So that was 2013. And now, 7 years later, he's written the companion piece to that play. And it's set up, it's a hip hop musical. It's like a full on hip hop musical. The entire play is scored. And it's basically like almost like a court case, if you want to call it that, between Freddie, the young Black youth who was killed, and David Harrison, the white police officer who shot him. It's like a rap battle between the two of them. He spent many years crafting this piece. Diane Roberts is on board as the director. We have a fantastic team of artists to perform it, and Troy Slocum doing music. It's so fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to sharing this play with our audience, especially now. Sadly, what's going on right now in the world, a play like this has so much resonance. And I almost wish that the play wasn't as relevant as it is. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's talking about. So it's important. This is actually, there's that word. This is an important work. This is an important play that is being developed, and I'm really excited to share it with an audience.
And it is so interesting because you've been working on that for several years, or Omari has been working on that, and you've planned it for a while. And now this year, I assume, gave everything a different momentum.
This is definitely a piece all on its own. Like it's got its own sort of, not niche, but Omari, he brings something so strong and profound to this story in a different kind of way.
I want to talk to you about a program that I was happily part of, the Artist Mentorship Program. That's how Quincy and I met as well. It's an incredible program where BTW, under your leadership, is supporting young artists in their careers. And I wanted to know, because you are an artistic director, but you are also an actor and performer, I think young people or people are needed. Women, especially Black women, are needed as ADs. And I think there is like a lot of people have like maybe some anxiety or certain things. It seems like a holy position. So I was just wondering, what do you think is needed, and if that's something to think about as an artist?
You mentioned women in artistic leadership. And I think that's something to really pay attention to, particularly Black women, especially for a company like Black Theatre Workshop. One of the things that I think about a lot, as I say, this is my 10th season. Before me, it was Tyrone, and he did, I believe, 6 seasons. Before him, it was Rachel Van Fossen, a white woman, who did 5 seasons. And before her, it was Kate Bly, a white woman, who did 2 seasons. So Black Theatre Workshop hasn't had a Black female artistic director in quite some time. And I hope that when my time is done at BTW, that maybe is a door that can be filled again by, or a role that can be filled again by a Black woman. I would love to see that. It's not going to be up to me, but it's something that I think about quite often, actually.
Yeah. Wow. Like, I think the work you are doing is incredible. And I think a lot of male and females have benefited from it. I did, for sure. And I really look forward to see more women in leadership, more Black women in leadership in the future as well. And thank you for all the support you're giving at this point. And I wanted to ask you a personal question. Let's see if you're ready to answer it.
Okay.
A person like you, who's, I would say, a role model to many people, and people seek your advice, especially in their artistic development. How can you talk about some of your times when you're like low, when you're not well artistically, or when you even, like, I don't know if you call it failures, but like, or big lessons of your life, whatever you want to name it. But can you talk about these times? Because I think a lot of people need to hear about those times as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I've certainly had some of those times, that's for sure. And it's been, in terms of low, like it's actually been quite low a lot recently. For everyone, obviously, dealing with this pandemic, it has taken its toll on people in a very significant way, I think, and I'm certainly wasn't immune to that experience. And yeah, there are often some very, very low times. I think, you know, even being the artistic director of BTW, there are times where, as an actor, that means that I'm not able to go out and do what I want to do sometimes, which is being on stage. And so as much as I love being an AD, sometimes the work, while very artistic, it's also very administrative, very bureaucratic at times. And I long for art, for the art of it. And so it's, you know, it's a tricky thing to balance. Luckily, you know, I've been supported at BTW by being able to go out and take acting contracts here and there. So I've been acting the entire time that I've been running the company as well. But, you know, those low times are hard. I get through them by dancing, definitely, but also in, you know, community. I think I'm very lucky in that I have a great circle of friends in the theater community who are not just a circle of friends, they're family. We are family. And if it weren't for them, then things would be a lot bleaker for me in those low times. And I mean, and you know most of the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about Lucinda Davis and Tamara Brown and Wadona Setswayello and Mariah Inger and Mike Payette and Tristan D. Lala. Like, there's so many wonderful, wonderful artist.
And is that a source of empowerment to you, would you say? Or what empowers you?
Oh wow, that's a great question. That is a source of empowerment for me, particularly as the AD of BTW, because BTW and the AD-ship of BTW is so much more than me. I serve a community of artists. I serve a community, and that is so important to me, and I take that very, very seriously. It's not just I get to be the AD and I get to choose the play. Yes, but I'm choosing the plays to tell the stories of our people, to provide opportunities for people who look like me and who love doing what I love to do, to have an opportunity to do that. I feel very much in service to Black artists and the Black communities of Montreal and beyond. And so that's how I approach my work. And yeah, it's very empowering. There's a huge responsibility there, but a welcome one.
What is a play or a production that left you very empowered, or changed you in a positive way, or affected you deeply?
I'm fortunate that there have been several, but there's one in particular that changed who I am at my core. And this was in 2015 in the fall. BTW was one of the producing companies, but I was also in the cast of The Adventures of a Black Girl in Search of God by Janet Sears. It was produced by the National Arts Center and Center Theatre in association with BTW. And that show, that production changed me. We started rehearsals on August 25th, 2015. And like there's Quincy Armorer up until that day, and the Quincy Armorer I am now post after that day. That's how significant that show was for me, and for all of us. Like we talk about it. It's not like, only me, or like we all know that we were a part of this incredible, visceral, extraordinary Black experience of telling this Black story by this incredible Black writer and director, and the team that was put together. It was one of the most significant experiences of my life. And I'm not just talking professional experiences, one of the most significant experiences. And it moved me, and I was moved by seeing how much it moved everybody.
He has his plan. I don't understand your plan.
Give me your hand.
I hate it. I hate your faith. Even when you see that God's house doesn't protect you,
No, I'm a fraud, Rainey. I'm a fraud. I'm a faithless preacher. If there is a God, I'm surprised he hasn't struck me down by now.
That sounds beautiful. For us who haven't seen the show, apart from the community aspect of having all this beautiful and wonderful people around you, do you remember a specific scene or something that happened in the play that was very special?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. I love this. You're going to love this. So part of what the show is, we had a 14-member chorus that were, they were the living set of the show. So they were the ancestors, they were the trees, they were the land, they were Negro Creek, which was talked about a lot in the play. So we actually removed the first 2 rows of seats in the theater so that we could create Negro Creek, where the chorus would, a lot of physical work in terms of recreating the landscape and the ancestry of the community. Very much an ensemble. And we opened the show on a Thursday, and then on the Friday night, I was not feeling very well. It was a 3-hour show. So I left the show, I was at the Centaur, and I got in a cab on the front, and I went straight to the hospital. I was in the hospital like for 8 hours until I was finally seen. I had a bladder infection and I had a kidney infection. They gave me medication. They sent me home. I couldn't even make it all the way home. I went to my parents' place. I slept for a couple hours. And then of course, the next day is Saturday. It's a 2-show day of a 3-hour show. So we did the matinee, and then I went and I passed out in between. Stage manager was like, when should I wake you up? I was like 5 minutes before the half hour. So then she woke me up. And anyways, long story short, we're in the second show on the Saturday, and we get to the end, and I'm weak and feeling ill and tired, and I don't know where I'm gonna have the energy to finish the show. And I'm on stage with Lucinda beside me and looking down into Negro Creek. And the 14 cast members who were the creek and the ancestors, and they were all doing this beautiful choreography of being the creek, and they were looking up at me, and they were sending up so much love and energy and support to me because they knew, and they were just like, we got you. You can do this. We got you.
Aww.
Nobody said a word. It was just on their faces, in their bodies, and in their energy. And I felt it. And it felt like they picked me up metaphorically and carried me through the rest of that show.
Yes.
It's my favorite performance of any production I have ever been in my entire life.
Wow, this is such a beautiful image. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for making me think about this again. It's beautiful, beautiful memories.
Yes, and it's really making it visual for us. I have a picture in my mind right now. And another topic that makes me move or moves me in my heart is your love for Shakespeare. So what you all should know is I had the honor to work with you on Shakespeare. It was brief, but I'm still thankful. I'm so thankful because I feel like I got to see Shakespeare through different eyes thanks to you. And you have, I don't know how many parts that are left that you haven't played. I know you have played Benvolio in Romeo and Juliet. You've played Othello. You've played Hamlet. You just mentioned yourself. You played Peck. I could go on. You played Oberon. Like there is like so many things, so many roles. I could probably sit here for another 2 hours, name roles that you've played. Can you tell us a little bit about how did this start, the love to Shakespeare? Yeah, let's start with that. I have more questions, but let's start with that.
Where did it all start? I don't know. Honestly, like when I was in high school was when I was first exposed to Shakespeare. I think the first play for me was like probably the 8th grade, and we were doing Julius Caesar. And then like the 9th grade, we did Romeo and Juliet. And then it was the Scottish play, Mackers, and then Hamlet. And I don't know what it was about. I mean, I was in 8th grade, what am I, 13 years old, 13, 14, something like that. And yet when we were looking at the script, something just resonated with me in a really deep way. And I'm not quite sure what it was. I know that part of it was the poetry. I kind of love the fact that I just felt it.
Have you ever thought about directing Shakespeare? Or maybe you have directed Shakespeare as well?
I would absolutely love to direct some Shakespeare, 100%. And I'm going to make it happen at some point. There's a few that I want to get my hands on in that way. One of them is, well, I'm going to start with them in Summer Night's Dream just because it's the one that I've done the most. I've done 5 productions of it. So I'm very, very familiar with it. And I have like little bits from each production that I've been in that I want to hang out to, and then other ideas that are brewing up here. And then there's Romeo and Juliet. It's kind of simple, but in a way, I love the simplicity of that play. I think it can be done with very, very little because it's all in the text. It's all in the language. And yeah, for me, just it's the words, it's the language so much. Like you don't need a lot of bells and whistles. You just need good actors who understand it.
What would you ask Shakespeare if you could ask him anything today?
Oh, wow. No one's ever asked me that question before. What would I ask
I love
him?
that.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, I may need to think about this one for a little bit, but if you're asking me right now, hey, Shakespeare, I got a question for you. I don't know what it would be other than be like, what's your favorite of your plays? I'd love to know that. I want to know what his favorite of his plays is and what his next play would have been.
You make me curious and you make me miss theater. I'm just like,
Oh, well, I don't want to make you miss it, but I know an artistic director who would love to have you back in the world of theater.
well, I can't wait, that's for sure. One question that I keep asking in almost every interview because I find it so relevant and important is, what would you advise your 16-year-old self?
Wow, so many things. The first thing I'd probably say is it's okay. It's okay. It's okay that you don't like sports. It's okay that you like to dance. It's okay that you love the theater. It's okay that you love Shakespeare. It's okay that you're different. Because that's something that it took me a long time to process quite a few things at a very significant moment in my life, and if I had the opportunity to go back, I almost might not, like, I would say these things, but I almost would just hold myself and just allow 16-year-old me to release and collapse into being held, because I think that I built up so much stress and tension and walls to keep people out, to keep things out, at times to keep things hidden, and that's a huge burden to carry. And so that's what I would do. I would be like, it's okay, you're fine, and you're going to be fine. That's what I would want to say.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing this delicate piece of information. We are coming to an end of this YELLIT episode.
Oh, it's too
and
bad.
While you can think about what you will yell, I just want to tell you, Quincy, from the bottom of my heart, that I see you, and I almost want to say we see you, like what you are doing. Oh, I'm almost crying. For this community is, I don't even know how to put it in words. It's unmeasurable. So I think as a Black community, or specifically theater community, we need role models. We need people who help us, who support us, who guide us, who we can look up to. And you've been this, and you are this for me, this person. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for waking up every morning and pushing for BTW, for your community, for your colleagues, for your passion of theater. I really want to thank you. I also thank you for being here today and sharing so generously and honestly from your heart. And we, the YELLIT team, we wish you all. Yeah, I'm also like, keep talking. So we wish you all the best for this 50th season, for all the projects that are in the making, and for the day when theaters open again. We all can't wait. We keep our eyes peeled. We follow BTW on YouTube and Facebook and all the social media handles. You can also support BTW at any time. Yeah, we wish you success also as an actor and director in your solo career. And I can't wait to see you back on stage. I always enjoy watching you. And now, if you are ready, the stage is yours to yell whatever you like.
It's so funny that you say the stage is mine, because what I'm going to yell is Shakespeare, 5 words. All the world's a stage.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Benita, so much for this.
Thank you, Quincy. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode from YELLIT. I wish you all the best and see you soon. Bye.
YELLIT, 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 YELLIT from the mountains.